Today you're ready to add the patterns onto your manga hair. The big thing with adding your patterns to your manga hair is that you want to make your composition look balanced so that your eyes don't get stuck in one area. So what I mean by that is you don't want to put all your thick patterns right here because your eyes would get stuck in that spot and they wouldn't move around. So we want to balance out our line weight, our thick, thin, and medium patterns so that they're balanced all throughout our composition so our eyes don't get stuck anywhere. So you'll want your design sheet because you've already got some patterns already done and you're ready to go as you get started. Now on your rubric here, it says that with your patterns, that your patterns are unique. So I'm looking for things that are really unusual, that haven't been seen by anybody else in the class, and that they aren't repeated more than once. So each pattern can be repeated twice, so you can do it in 2 different strands of hair, but I don't want you to do it more than twice. If you do that, then you do start to lose points. Again though, this is only 10 points. If you really are stuck on an idea and you have to do a pattern 3 times, it's not the end of the world, you know. Oh, you get 8 instead of 10 points. It's okay. And of course, when we get to using the Sharpie on it, we've got to use our good craftsmanship. So I'm going to get started here with just my really basic pattern that I did for you before, the zigzag pattern, and show you how you can use that, but then thinking about balancing it. When you first get started, you might be a little nervous because this is your final work of art to just start in Sharpie. So if you're more comfortable, you know, you can start at first in pencil, pushing down lightly, and you might also want a ruler depending on what the patterns are that you're doing. So I would start here, kind of drawing it out, and it would extend all the way down through the whole section of hair. Now again, you can start off with patterns maybe the first day, day and a half working with pencil, but then eventually you probably won't have enough time to do all of them in pencil and then start with Sharpie. So this one I'm going to do where I just do this as a thin line here. So good craftsmanship, staying edge to edge of my hair, not going outside of that edge. Also not making sketching lines, but making it look precise, clean, sharp. If I go off my pencil lines, I know I can use my eraser and get rid of those. So I started off with this thin line, and then this pattern had the dark triangles in between. So I would go in here and do that dark triangle. Make sure that you're using a marker that works. If a marker is dead or dying, it's going to leave that kind of bluish look, and it's not going to look as high quality craftsmanship as when you get that contrast of the light color of your paper versus the dark of the marker. So if your tool isn't working, you're making your job harder. So make sure that you trade it out and get a new marker that works. Also make sure you always have your protective paper underneath so that way we aren't ruining the tables. Filling it in all the way. If something's supposed to be solid black, and we don't leave gaps in it like this, we fill it in all the way, solid black. That's good craftsmanship. So that would be my first pattern. Now I want to put my next pattern, and I don't recommend doing 2 zigzags in a row because that would look a little boring. But so then I need to balance it out. So if I look over at this is pretty dark. So probably my next pattern, I kind of apply my patterns in a pattern. So if I say this is kind of a thick, then maybe I want to do a thin here. So maybe I just want to take and do kind of my wavy line from edge to edge. So I would then take my Sharpie and go over it with my wavy line from edge to edge to edge. So I'm still filling the space. When I think about my qualities of a good pattern, it's filling the space, you know, but it doesn't have a lot of detail, right? It doesn't have a variety of lines. So what I could do then to use another thin Sharpie, so you actually have 2 different Sharpie sizes you can use, and I could go in here and make just some really thin lines to balance that out going in between. So now I'm getting a little bit more variety. I'm definitely filling my space and I'm changing it up. Again, good craftsmanship, going edge to edge, not leaving gaps. If I was supposed to do 2 in every one, I do 2 in every one. Again, if you'd want to use a ruler or pencil at first, that's great. Flowing and control. So then I did thick, thin. So this one would need to be medium. So for a medium pattern, again, I probably shouldn't do a zigzag right next to it, but I don't want to take all of your ideas. So for, I'm going to put a zigzag this close, even though again, you should spread them out more. So I'm just going to go back here Again, notice I'm going edge to edge to edge. Okay, and maybe I want to make it just a touch thicker because that was awfully thin. And some patterns can be this simple. When I'm like, evaluating it for your grade, I'm looking overall. Did you use a variety of line weight? Did you use a variety of details? And so now that's a medium pattern, filling the space. So then I'd go in and start to fill in this side. So across from here, this is really thick, so I wouldn't want to do a thick one here, but here we've got kind of medium and thin. So here I would want to do a thicker one there. So this might be a great place if I was going to do like shapes. So let's say I do my circles. Notice I have them getting cut off at the edges. Then I would go in here and color in behind it, not leaving any white spots. Good craftsmanship, coloring it in so it's a solid black. But I'm getting that contrast between these two patterns right here that were thin lines to this one right here, which is a thick pattern. So again, so it's balancing out my my patterns. Balance is creating a work of art so that no one area overpowers everything. We don't want one pattern to just kind of draw your eyes completely to it and you ignore everything else, especially our face. We want our face to be the most important thing. So we kind of want our patterns to be kind of this just all over balance of patterns and interesting designs that kind of draw our eyes in and where we're really showing our creativity, but we don't want it to take away the face of ourselves as our manga character. And filling that in. So see how I'm balancing out my thick and my thin. Remember, this is also an opportunity. So here I've got kind of thin, so I think I'm going to switch to my thin Sharpie. And this is an opportunity to show those details that make it look like you. So what are the things that you're interested in? So I'm doing my paint brushes here. Again, notice that I'm going to have them go different direction, filling the space going off the page. I'll go in and color in the bristles in just a moment. But it could be your favorite activity, your favorite sport, your favorite animal, your favorite thing to do when you're not at school, whatever you're really passionate about, your favorite food, whatever it may be, to help you make it look more unique and more interesting and more like you, to tell me something about you, because I know some of you really struggled with that when it came to creating the features in your face. So doing this will help with that creativity grade, that it represents you, because it's got all these different patterns and things that look like you. Again, as you do that, I ask that you do not have it have words or letters or numbers. As an artist, we're trying to visually communicate our ideas with images. Those are not really images, okay? I want you to tell me your story with your images. So then I'd go on. So again, and notice that across from each other, I changed the pattern. So then this is really thick, so I would want to do thin right here. Then I probably want to do medium, then thick. So basically, as I apply my patterns, I apply them in a pattern of line weight. So thick, thin, medium, keep going on, then thick, thin. So I'd probably want to put a medium right here. And so you're just balancing it out throughout the whole composition by, like I said, putting it in a pattern, in your pattern, whatever order it is. So, you could do thick, thin, medium, or thick, medium, thin, thick, medium, thin, and just repeating that over and over again so you don't have all your thick in one area or all your thin. Again, you want to get that idea of balance so that everything is light and dark is balanced so your eyes don't get stuck in any one area. Again, remember that your characteristics of a high quality pattern are that they fill the space, have lots of details. There's a variety of lines and shapes and a variety of line weight, thick, medium, and thin. You may repeat each pattern twice. So I could do this one more time. I could do this one more time, and I wouldn't lose any points, okay? These are two different patterns. Even though they're both zigzags, they're two different patterns. So that doesn't count as the same pattern. So you could do this twice and this twice. Okay. Slow down, good craftsmanship, staying inside your lines, nice sharp edges, coloring things in all the way if they're supposed to be filled in black, keeping it even and controlled, not sketching lines with your permanent markers.